Hey, little guy. I shall call him Squishy, and he shall be mine, and he shall be my Squishy. Come here, Squishy.
Come here, let me see that.
Don't touch it. Don't touch
I'm
it.
not gonna touch it. I just want to look.
Ow.
It doesn't look bad. You're gonna be fine. But now we know, don't we, that we don't want to touch these again.
She actually is a child. She talks to strangers. She forgets things that you just told her. She loves preschool. She rushes around and gets nosebleeds. She cries offhandedly. She points and laughs at things. She loves to play Pictionary. She's distracted by shiny object. She sticks her fingers in electrical outlets. She needs a parent to kiss her boo-boo better. If you let her out of her sight, she will find a way to run into an electric fence.
Take your pick. I got more.
She's a child. The problem is she's not a child. She's an adult.
A game?
Yes.
Ah, I love games. Pick me.
Sometimes. More like whenever it's convenient for the plot. I mean, she's not just a plot tool, she's the entire drawer. And because she has short-term memory loss, she's accountable for nothing. I mean, look, she was playing a game and she almost died. Skip ahead. She's got a giant gash on her body from nearly being fatally electrocuted. That's fairly major. I wonder what Dory thinks about this.
29, 30. Ready or not? Here I come. There you are.
She forgot. Apparently it doesn't hurt either because she doesn't even seem to know it's there. But then wait, if Dory can't take anything away from that experience, why give her a scar at all?
You don't fully understand.
Come on. Trust me on this.
Yeah, let's just say it's not there for her.
Let's play the Let's Not Die card.
You want to get out of here, don't you?
Of course I do.
Dory's body has a big-ass scar on it, and its only purpose is to be a plot device to guilt Marlon into stop being such a spaz. 'Cause she's a tool. Specifically, she's become a bulletin board for reminders the plot can leave for Marlon. She was nearly killed, and has nothing to say about it. All because of her short-term memory. Gosh, that's convenient, isn't it? Now we don't have to worry about what Dory thinks about nearly dying. Or that she's scarred for life. In fact, you could probably do anything to her, and she'd have no opinion whatsoever. I'm basically saying that Dory's condition is being used as a shitty device to rob her of all agency and personhood for the convenience of the plot. This isn't a very fun review at all.
Wait. I have definitely seen this floating speck before. That means we've passed it before, and that means we're going in circles, and that means we're not going straight.
Hey.
We gotta get to the surface. Come on, we'll figure it out up there. Let's go, follow me! What?
Relax.
See, I'm still not convinced swimming to the surface wasn't absolutely the best option there. I mean, you can just see, like, her plot minion sensors are going off. Target using brain. Does not compute. Emergency intervention protocol activated.
What?
Relax.
We don't use our heads in Finding Nemo. We don't use... what was it? Logic. We just trust in the universe, and everything turns out fine because I say so.
Let's ask somebody for directions.
Oh, fine. Who do you want to ask? The speck? There's nobody here!
Then the movie's like, oh crap, he's right. I hate when Marlon's right. There is nobody there.
Let's see. Okay, no one there. Nope. Nada.
Well, we'll just put somebody there.
There's somebody. Hey!
Yeah, so that Dory can be right.
If we ask her directions, it could ingest us and spit out our bones.
What is it with men and asking for directions?
What even is... Ugh, that line. First off, it makes no sense.
Would somebody please give me directions?
Marlon loves asking for directions. That line doesn't even know what movie it's in.
Let's play the Let's Not Die card.
You want to get out of here, don't you?
Of course I do.
Well then, how are we going to do that unless we give it a shot and hope for the best?
Give it a shot and hope for the best. You know what? Screw you, Dory. That could be a shark. You're two tiny fish in an ocean. It's perfectly logical to assume that everything wants to eat you. No, you know what? Just because you have no concept of risk or danger or the safety of others does not make Marlon wrong. When you've barely survived as many near-death experiences as these two, give it a shot and hope for the best should no longer be on the table.
Excuse me! Woo! Oh, whale. Okay. Maybe he only speaks whale.
Dory.
Don't worry, whales don't eat clownfish, they eat krill.
Swim away!
Oh look, krill!
So we could use this as an example to have Dory actually be wrong about something.
Dory!
But we're not gonna do that, are we? Well, maybe my biggest issue is that Dory has no concept of her friend's suffering. I mean, just look at this shit. This would not happen in real life without Dory just coming off as a huge, just selfish asshole and a terrible friend to her friend who's about to lose everything and who's having a meltdown.
Oh, come on, you gotta try this!
Will you just stop it?
Why? What's wrong?
My son's gone, I'm trapped in a whale, my life is over, my family is dead, I'm about to die, and I just saw it. Isn't this great? I just need a hug. Woo!
I have to get out! I have to find my son! I have to tell him how old sea turtles are! Oh.
Hey, you okay?
No, Dory, he's peachy. That was a moan of joy.
There. It's all right. It'll be okay.
I mean, that's very touching. It's just, who takes advice from people that know nothing about them? Seriously, no one does. But I know the movie wants us to really take what Dory says seriously. I mean, this is the scene where she basically tells us the message of the movie, and yet she has no way of empathizing with the protagonist who's been going through this journey in the first place.
That's a funny thing to promise. Well, you can't.
No, it won't.
Sure it will. You'll see.
He thinks he's gonna die! You'll see. What is it, a surprise? Give him some reason to think that he's not going to die. Is that really so hard?
No. I promised him I'd never let anything happen to him.
That's a funny thing to promise.
What?
Well, you can't never let anything happen to him. Then nothing would ever happen to him. Not much fun for little Harpo.
Bumper sticker parenting advice. And that's it. That was Dory's purpose. Don't get involved. Don't get into it. Just off the cuff advice and all's well. It's about the equivalent of sending someone a demotivational poster on Facebook. That's about the extent of Dory's emotional effort here.
Dory.
What's
Dory.
going
Dory.
on?
Stop trying to speak whale. You're gonna make things worse. You tell him I'm not interested in being lunch.
Okay.
Stop talking to him.
Marlin isn't off the hook either. Yeah, he's stressed, and yeah, it's Dory's fault they're stuck in the whale.
It's a whale.
A whale! Because you had to ask for help.
Yeah, Dory, stand up for yourself. Why is she just letting him treat her that way? Marlin tells her she can't speak whale one way or another 9 times. I counted. And every time she's yelled at, she does nothing, or she gets all sheepish, like, oh, I did a bad thing. And their relationship is essentially unchanged from the beginning of the movie.
Something's wrong with you. Really. You're wasting my time.
It's the same! What happened to this Dory? The not putting up with Marlin's shit Dory. For a brief second, it looked like she was developing, like their relationship was developing, where Dory takes a stand and demands to be treated as an adult and a friend. Like, hey, back off, you can't treat me that way, I'm not your kid.
What is going on?
I'll check.
No more whale. You can't speak whale.
Yes, I can.
Why are you whining?
You can't. You think you can do these things, but you can't, Nemo.
Oh! Marlin's just realized that he's been treating Dory like Nemo. Maybe? Is that it?
Okay.
Dory!
He says it's time to let go. Everything's gonna be all right.
How do you know?
Were you not listening? Because she trusts the whale, obviously.
How do you know something bad isn't gonna happen?
I don't!
Lies. That is a lie. Contrary to what Finding Nemo wants us to believe, Dory is actually making an informed decision based on logic and reasoning. Astounding, I know.
How do you know?
I don't!
And we're trying to pretend like she isn't. Why? Why? Why can't Dory be making a rational decision? Why is that so hard? Why is that so hard for anyone in this movie? Why do we not want to develop our characters? Finding Nemo. So what you're telling me, movie, is that if we all just act like Dory and treat everything as if there's no risk at all, we will live a happy, healthy life. Yeah, no. In real life, you would not just throw yourself down the whale's throat. At least I hope you wouldn't. There's people trying to cross a highway. How do you know you won't get hit by a car? I don't! You look for cars!
We're alive!
Look!
Dory, we made it!
I'm gonna go get some tea, because Dory becomes irrelevant after this.
Pelican! No! Breakfast!
I found his dad!
Nemo.
I'm so sorry.
What'd I miss?
Nemo's gone.
Sure he is.
Well, wait. Where are you going?
I'm going home now.
No, you can't.
Well, there you go. I've been ragging on and on that I don't think these two have established any meaningful relationship, and bam, the movie goes and does me a favor. Dory is now the only thing Marlin has in the world, and after everything they've been through,
Hey, wait a minute.
he feels nothing about just leaving her forever. That, to me, is very telling of how
No one's
connected
ever
these
stuck
two
with me for
ever
so
really
long
were.
before. And if you leave, I remember things better with you. I don't want that to go away. I don't want to forget.
But I do.
I mean, Marlin isn't thinking clearly right now, but damn it, man, you're just gonna leave her lost and confused hundreds of miles from home with no idea where she is or how she got there? Dick move!
If you leave, I remember things better with you. I do. Look, P. Sherman, 42. I remember it. I do. It's there. I know it is, because when I look at you, I can feel it. And I look at you and I'm home.
It sounds like she's developed a psychological codependency on him. Which means this isn't actually a conflict because nothing here is within Dory's control.
I remember
She
things
can't
better
just
with you. I
want
do.
him to stay, she has to need him to stay. It can't be emotional, it has to be objective. Are either of them actually invested in this friendship? Did we ever actually establish any sort of bond beyond, I'm helping and I'm barely putting up with you, but at least I'm not leaving? And in terms of Dory's development, I don't know. It seems like they realized Dory needed a big emotional scene as a kind of finale, but they didn't realize until now how limited she was. Right, what have we got to work with? We've got short-term memory loss and Marlin. Is that really it? That is really it. That's all she has. We spent all that time, yeah, and she's got nothing. Okay. Well then we'll just take those two things and smush them together. So now Dory's memory is dependent on Marlin? Great.
Might be considered kind of a step backwards, wouldn't you say?
You know what? Fine. If that's the case, then Dory should have tagged along after Marlin anyways for her own sake. She knew how much trouble she was about to be in.
Are you alright?
I don't know where I am. I don't know what's going on. I think I lost somebody, but I can't remember.
He just left her like that.
I'm looking for someone too. Hey, we can look together.
Here's your kid, you asshole. Thanks for leaving me to die. So anyway, Dory and Nemo go off to find Marlin, and on the way, Dory jogs her memory by accident by reading Sydney on a pipe. By accident? Really? You know what? Whatever. 2 minutes after she just said she needed Marlin to remember anything, and now I guess not. So maybe her memory isn't reliant on her proximity to Marlin. I guess we can draw that conclusion. But, personally, from the first time I saw this film as a kid, I always assumed that from now on, Dory needed Marlin around to keep her memory loss in check. And that may have been from just how emotional and prominent a scene this is for Dory. I mean, it seems to overshadow that she got her memory back on her own, / by accident a second later.
Nemo's alive!
Dory? Nemo! Nemo! Oh, thank goodness.
Well, it's been about 5 minutes since we've tried to kill anybody. But Nemo's busy.
Dory!
So, yeah, summing up, she ends the movie with Marlin and Nemo. It kind of would have been nice to know that she's living with them because she wants to, and not because it's implied she may need them, whatever. But she's got a family now, so that's nice. Okay, I'm going to sum up, and to keep it as short as humanly possible, I'm going to use a list. My list of reasons I hate Dory, because I don't feel like being nice right now. Number 1. She's a Manic Pixie dream girl. No, she's not. She's definitely the Manic Pixie, she's just not the dream girl. Dory's really a jumble of all similar kind of manic trope types, but I think she needs really her own. So I've made one for her. Woo! Spastic Fairy Bluefish. I think it'll catch on. The Spastic Fairy Bluefish is justified in doing and saying anything he or she wants, because they exist solely as a manifestation of innocence and purity and childlike wonder, to act as a foil to the troubled main character as a device to create circumstances in which their foil is always in the wrong in order to press the film's message. Number 2, she has no character growth or arc. Or very little. Her entire development revolves around her short-term memory loss, and whether or not it's as bad as it was at the beginning of the film, her and Marlin have so much screen time together, and she gets so much dialogue, it should have been possible to keep her funny while still having her learn and grow. Number 3, she's a troubling representation of people with short-term memory loss. She's essentially trivializing their condition to be used as a metaphor for a happy, optimistic, and healthy lifestyle. From everything I've found, people with short-term memory loss are frustrated, confused, and alone almost every minute of the day. But according to Finding Nemo, they must be the happiest people on the planet because they simply can't remember what their problems are. Number 4, she's not a person, she's not a character, she's a concept.
Go, follow me! What?
Relax.
She's the concept of the worry-free lifestyle. Her having no choice but to live in the moment is meant to contrast to Marlin's obsessive dwelling on his own past. But she's never really developed into an actual character to add more depth to this idea. Marlin never got to relate to her. All he ever learned from her was offhanded advice, nothing to do with her own experiences of living with memory loss. It was just there for thematic decoration. Number 5.
Well, then we gotta find a fish that can read this. I can read!
Well, then here, read this down!
She's a plot device. In so many ways. Her short-term memory loss is manipulated freely to force plot events, often to make Marlin look like an idiot when he's actually doing the smart or logical thing. Which brings me to number 7. I still maintain Finding Nemo has a mean-spiritedness about it. Marlin just needed a frickin' support network, but instead we get mean-spiritedness, humiliation, guilt, and a really passive-aggressive and patronizing plot attitude, and Dory is kind of the conceptual mothership to all that. I mean, if nothing else, I spite her based solely on the attitude she represents in the film. I can't. I don't even have patience for that attitude in characters, never mind an entire style of storytelling. But, I mean, she's really, 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 really funny. And Ellen DeGeneres does such an amazing job with her. So, there you go. There's your pros. You're welcome. Dory, I guess, has proven that a character doesn't need development to achieve cultural longevity, so... Pixar announces Finding Dory, a sequel to Finding Nemo. She's not even...
Every time I think it's gonna end, your memory wins again. Why do I run the way I do?
Nemo barely survived his movie. We never even found Marlin.